Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new kind of video. I'm going to be doing a theory about our favorite brute, Lugnut. Now, the thing about Lugnut is that if you take a look at both his head and his hands, they look really similar to bots like Whirl and bots like Glitch. Now, if we look into the lore, what do Whirl and Glitch have in common? They were both victims of a procedure called empurata. This included removing their head and hands and replacing them with claws and a cyclops eye in order to show that they should be ridiculed. And to quote TF Wiki, this was almost certainly done out of racism towards the cold constructed bots, who this procedure was most commonly used on. And how does Lugnut tie into this, you may be asking? Well, dear viewers, that is where the theory comes in. I propose that Lugnut may just be an empurata victim. And there are some things that don't line up here, such as him having a mouth and theoretically having more than just one eye, but I think it could be plausible, as you'll see soon. And before we get into it, look at this super awesome fan art that I found. Anyway, about the mouth, I would argue that, well, since the procedure was used to show that they should be ridiculed, I would assume that a lack of visual emotion would be part of that, and as we see throughout the series, Lugnut's mouth and extra eyes are not very expressive. Unfortunate for him because, well, sometimes he would need to show how absolutely miserable he is. But straying away from the jokes for a second, his mouth isn't super expressive, like I already said. The only time we really see Lugnut showing any expression is in Cyberverse, although it's been very clear in anywhere that isn't France that Cyberverse Lugnut is not Lugnut. But when you think about this, another question that comes to mind is, what did Lugnut do to deserve an empurata operation? The obvious answer would be destroying things, probably like some kind of damage, and I don't know if there's any way to tell if Lugnut is cold constructed because I don't entirely know what that term means, but I guess we should assume that he is if he were to get an empurata. Alright, I just binged it, and it turns out that cold construction is taking a frozen spark and putting it into a pre-made body, and I think that is plausible for Lugnut, seeing as how he has a very unique body shape. Well, except for Clobber, but we don't talk about Clobber. But I think it makes sense for Lugnut to have been cold constructed, as how his body type is so unique and has a very specific purpose of destroying things and being big, which could have definitely led to some racism and caused him to need an empurata operation, I suppose. I can't be the only one who's learning about Transformers racism for the first time, right? So yes, all of the evidence pretty much lines up. He's more than likely cold constructed, he's got the body type for it, he's likely to commit a crime, I guess. The only things that don't add up are the mouth and the extra eyes, but like I said, those could be qualified as not expressive enough to show any real emotion. Plus, I mean, it's not any previously shown empurata head, but I think it could work. I definitely think it could, but I think that's going to be the end of this theory. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.